Hey, TLS peeps, Melanie Nelson here. What do you do when a client has what we would consider an adverse effect with a product they just started on, or the results slowed down to a snail's pace and they're, asking you about it? Especially when you're brand new, you can go a little bit into like panic mode. What do I do? TLS doesn't work. The products don't work. What do I do? Right. And so I want to teach you that number one, stay calm. Number two is ask a lot of questions. As a TLS coach, our job is to find solutions. And I will tell you that like 90% of the time, there is a very, very, very good reason why something is happening or not happening. And our job is to find that solution. So the thing that I typically say is, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's horrible. Let's find a solution to this and let's get down to the bottom of it. So that opens the window for me to ask a lot of questions. So first of all, you just want to share some compassion and empathy. You don't just want to like go, well, what were you doing? And did you do this? And you didn't do that? And things like that. So, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear this. That's horrible. Well, let's get to the bottom of it. Let's find a solution. I have some questions for you. So that's first. So let's use some examples here because this will help. Now buckle in. This one might be a long one, okay? Because I really want to equip our new TLS peeps to working with people on lifestyle. With TLS, people have a greater commitment to lifestyle, to products, to, the whole the whole process. What's so amazing is if you look at the sales of any TLS major, they're selling a lot of TLS products, but they're selling a lot of health and nutrition, a lot of isotonics, a lot of digestive health, a lot of immune support, a lot of our antioxidants like curcumin and astaxanthin, and omega 3s. And, we move a lot of products. Why? Because typically when people are willing to make a lifestyle change, they already have a high commitment to their health and well-being. So let's talk about this. Remember, what are the first two rules? You remember? Stay calm and ask a lot of questions. And before you ask a lot of questions, you're going to show some empathy. Now, as TLS coaches, this is what we do. Here's the thing. When people are supplementing, it's common with any supplementation to feel maybe a little discomfort in the tummy, a little nauseous, a little, right? So first thing is read the directions on the product, take as directed, right? So first of all, the first question I'm going to ask is, I'm going to look at the bottle and I'm going to say like, okay, so it's CLA. I'm feeling a little nauseous after CLA. All right, well, CLA is after a meal twice a day. Are you taking it like that, Susan? So right here on the CLA bottle, Susan, it says you're taking 2 after breakfast and lunch, or after are you doing that? Are you taking it before? Are you taking it with the rest of your supplements in the morning? Right? These kinds of questions are very, very important as TLS coaches. This is what we do. Another one is isotonics, right? They're taking that in the morning on an empty stomach, first thing before anything else, with the exact right amount of water. So somebody tells me that they're not feeling good on the isotonics. The first thing I go to is, of course, right? I'm so sorry. Let's find a solution. Let's get to the bottom of this. Let me ask you a few questions. How did you take? Don't just ask general questions, by the way. So this is what I've learned over the years. We want to ask questions that are very specific. So a general question would be something like, are you taking it properly? Well, of course they're going to say yes, right? Are you following the TLS plan? That's another very general question. They're going to say, yes, I'm following everything, right? No, they're not. 90+% of the time, they're not. They're just not. None of us are following it 100% perfectly, right? So let's get down to business. The common thing is nausea or like kind of a detox response, right? So it's easy for us to just say, oh, it's a detox response. Don't do that. Let's dive in deeper. Let's find out, hey, did you take your isotonics in 8 ounces exactly? They say yes. Did you take it when you had an empty stomach, meaning you did not have a coffee, a glass of water, food, anything prior? Oh, no, I did. I did have a big glass of water, or I did have this, or I had a piece of toast. Well, guess what? When there's something in the stomach, that isotonics is going to sit there. It's not going to empty into the small intestine. It's going to sit there. And like any supplement, it may not feel great sitting in the stomach like that. And so, oh no, I added it to my smoothie, or I actually did less water, or I did more water. Anytime you mess with the isotonicity of isotonics, it's going to sit in the stomach way longer. Because the stomach then has to work to make it isotonic in order to empty into the small intestine. So when you take it properly, empty stomach, nothing prior, right? First thing in the morning, get out of bed, sleepy-eyed, mix your isotonics, right? That's what I always tell people. Only 8 ounces of water and only water. So also, if they're taking it properly, and they're still having that sort of, maybe a bowel emptying or a little nausea or something like that, that definitely then we know is a detox response, but only after you've figured out that, yes, they are taking it properly. I explain this 3 times and people still take it incorrectly. I give them a handout, I send an email, I text them, and they still think, sorry, my hair is like out of control today. They still think that they can, do whatever they want with it. And really the maximum benefit of isotonics is when it's taken properly. Anytime you mix it with something other than the exact amount of water, it's going to decrease the absorption and the maximum delivery and benefit of this product. Now, I'm not saying y'all can't add vitamin C to some fun cocktail or whatever. You're just not going to get the full benefit. And for me, I'm Dutch, right? I want the maximum benefit. I'm frugal. I don't want to waste anything. So I'm not going to add my isotonics to absolutely anything that would mess with the isotonicity. And also when somebody's brand new to this powerful, powerful product, having it sit in the stomach because you took it improperly is maybe not the best thing, right? So that's isotonics. Now, when people say, hey, I took, I'm taking Thermochrome or, CLA or whatever, and I'm feeling nauseous. And it's like, well, CLA isn't supposed to be taken on an empty stomach, so you don't. But Thermochrome can be, and it's actually got its most powerful sort of effect when you do. However, not everybody can tolerate that. Because it's a supplement in the stomach on an empty stomach, and that's like the most common thing in the world. Number 2 is possibly the chili peppers. So you take it with food. You take 1 instead of 2. These are all things that we can adjust. But the other thing about Thermochrome is enough water. Right? So somebody like, I'm feeling a little headachy or a little dizzy or a little, make sure you're drinking enough water. Anytime we are increasing supplementation, we also need to therefore increase our water. So we're going to say, hey, are you getting in your 60 to 100 ounces of water a day? Well, I think I am. Well, let's measure. Let's measure for a day how much you're actually getting in. And what people often find is they're not getting it nearly enough water. And with thermochrome, it's absolutely imperative that you do get enough water because caffeine is a diuretic. So it's going to take water out of the body. You're going to pee more when you're on thermochrome. At least I am. So you definitely need to replenish that, or you're going to have, you know, symptoms, so to say, of not having enough water, headachy, you know, just things like that. So asking a lot of questions is really important. Finding ways that your clients can get more water in is really crucial. So one of the things that I do is I have all my fun TLS and isotonics shaker bottles, and I have 5 and I fill them up, and I need to get through them throughout the day. Now, some of that's really overwhelming, holy 5, right? So Wendy, we worked out with Wendy Moquin that she's doing 3 33-ounce bottles a day, and that was better for her. Some of you like the big, huge gallon jug with the like fun messages on it. Fantastic. I don't want to carry around that big thing all day long, right? So that doesn't work for me. You just got to figure out what works for you and what works for your clients. How? Just by asking questions, asking questions, asking questions. That's what we do. Now, oftentimes if people are on a supplement, they start on a supplement or 2 with TLS and they think, well, that's gonna, you know, be the magic pill. And it's not. All right, it's a combination. TLS works fast when you are incorporating all 4 pillars of our program. Supplements accelerate your results. But if you're just doing supplementation, or if you're just doing exercise, or if you're just doing the meal plan, your results will be slower than if you did only 1 or 2 of those, right? Education being our 4th pillar. And the more that you tap into the education of the journal, the videos, the YouTube channel, all of the things we're putting out, the more likely you are to stick with this as a lifestyle and understand why you're doing what you're doing. And that makes it permanent. Education is the key to lifelong clients. So you definitely want to be feeding them these pieces of education consistently by texting them, posting into your Facebook groups. You know, here's a short little video. Here's a blog that's really amazing talking about the measurements of success with Dr. Nancy. Sending them these things so that they stay engaged mentally and physically. So when people have an adverse effect or their results slow, like they're like, oh, I'm not making enough progress and the scale slowed down and burp, 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 right? We get that. we do get that. And again, remember the rules. Stay calm. Ask a lot of questions. All right, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that the scale is slowed down. What can we do about that? Let's dig in. Let's find a solution. So let's revisit your veggie intake, right? We already talked about water. You always want to talk about water. How about your veggie intake? Are you getting that 6 to 9 cups of vegetables in a day? How's that going for you? You know, are you having those 2 snacks in the day? Are you skipping breakfast? You know, don't ask them if they're following the meal plan, because guess what? They're going to say, yes, I am. So get really specific. Hey, how is your breakfast? How's the 3 meals? How's the 2 snacks going? Hey, maybe it's time for you to send me your food log again and your tracking sheets again, you know, because they don't always have to do that forever and ever, amen, right? So maybe it's time to get back on logging and let's find out really what's going on, because chances are, you know, you're just not getting enough vegetables. That's like almost always a big key, because fiber, right? Protein and fiber. It's not protein and fat at every meal. That's keto. That's Atkins. That's going to drop the scale, but it is not healthy long term. It is protein and fiber at every meal that makes burning fat no big deal. Fiber comes from vegetables. All right. So meat and vegetables, or plant protein and vegetables. So We want that fiber in the body, scrubbing away, grabbing the fat and the toxins and shuttling them out of the body, increasing the metabolic burn. Because guess what? You want to be burning this food. Food is not the enemy, right? 3 meals and 2 snacks is a lot for some people who have a diet type history, right? Their food is the enemy. And I should always feel hungry, not full. Anybody who survived the 80s of starving yourself, calorie restriction, I mean, they're going to have that kind of mindset. So it's important for us to continually gently ask as TLS coaches, hey, how's that veggie intake coming? Are you getting that in? How about stress? Because stress can slow results. Jane, how's stress at home? Maybe with work, do you have an increased stress at work or something going on with the family? Because stress can slow your results. How are you doing there? And wait for the answer. Oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out. You're right. Oh my God. This week has been horrendous. Right. And you know what, Jane? When we're stressed, we often kind of fall off track. Like, have you had some alcohol in the evening? Have you had some treats and cheats, like a couple of pieces of chocolate here and there? Oh my God. Yeah. Like every day. Ooh, yeah. I've had a glass of wine every night, and I definitely partook in some, treats at work. You're right. Stress. I'm stress eating. Oh my gosh. Right. That's what happens. This is what happens. I had a client who was like, oh yeah, I'm getting my veggies in. And I'm like, send me your food log for 3 days or 5 days. Sometimes I just do that just so it's like a little chunk of time. So she considered vegetables on pizza her veggie intake. Yeah. So people are like, yeah, I get my veggies in. Well, how? How are you getting your veggies in? Canned on pizza? Like, I mean, this is why questions are so important. How's your sleep? Have you been burning the midnight oil? Have you been restless at night? How's your sleep? Sleep can slow down results. Tell me a little bit about your sleep. This is what we do, right? Now, all the other times that all of that is perfection, right? So they're sleeping good, their stress levels managed, they're following the meal plan, they're not doing the alcohol or cheats at night or whatever the case might be. The candy in the car. And so these are things that if they're all in place and everything is great, then chances are it has a lot to do with hormones, and hormones will slow your results and hormones take a while to balance. Okay. This is not an overnight thing when we are struggling hormonally. And what I mean by hormonally is women, if you're in that menopause stage, right? During and post is your results will happen slower. So just be prepared to that. Be prepared to have a higher commitment to the program in all aspects, right? Metabolism. Let's talk about leptin. So if you have a history of dieting, if you have a history of overeating, the leptin hormone, that doesn't happen overnight, right? That we balance out leptin, or that our body starts hearing it. So we want to, again, give that some time. So I'm always sharing with be loving and patient with your body. This change takes time, but when you do it right, the weight loss will become permanent and you won't be yo-yoing. So is that important to you? Is this being the last time you have to put an effort into losing weight important to you? Because then this is the plan. This is the path. This is the journey to balancing out those hormones once and for all. Okay. How about metabolism? You have a history. Do you have a history of dieting? Have you done a lot of yo-yo stuff where you crash diet and then you gain a bunch? And how long has that been going on? How long have you done that? Oh, pretty much my whole life. So like the last 30 years or 15 years, or yeah, that's going to slow the metabolism. That's going to make us more carb sensitive. That's going to have effects. And so again, revving up the metabolism and having it hum at a really nice pace is going to take time. But this is the plan that does it. And so we just want to have a higher commitment to our TLS meal plan, to our supplements, to our water intake, to managing stress, to having good sleep. And last but not least, exercise, right? Always ask about that. As TLS coaches, we're not here to be the confessional. We're not here to make them feel bad or guilty. We're here to encourage and support and educate. And the only way that we can do that is if we're asking questions kindly and gently, and with compassion. So how is your exercise going, Donna? How often are you exercising? Well, I'm exercising 6 times a week and the scale isn't moving. Really? And I've asked all the other meal plan questions. I've asked all the snack questions, the cheat questions, the sleep questions, the stress questions. I've asked all that. Everything's going great. Awesome. So chances are you're gaining muscle, but you're losing fat. And that slows the scale. But guess what, Donna? I bet your clothes are feeling and fitting a lot differently. Yeah, they are. Have you done your measurements lately? Have you done the measurements on your waist, on your hips, I haven't measured in about 4 weeks. Measure right now, because you're going to see that you've lost inches, and inches are more important than the pounds on the scale. All right. So let's take a look at those inches. This is why it's so important that we as TLS coaches are having people take those measurements, because there comes a point in people's journey where that scale measurement of the pounds dropping is going to slow, where they're used to in a diet, it continually dropping. With our program, they're going to lose fat, but gain muscle, which means the number on the scale kind of doesn't fluctuate much during certain times, because the body is brilliant, you guys. The body is doing exactly what the body is supposed to do when we provide it the tools it needs. And that's what I'm always telling my clients: trust your body. As long as you're giving it the foundational tools, right? Which is good nutrition, good supplementation, water, sleep, exercise. As long as you're doing those things, your body, every little teeny cell in your body is designed to heal itself. It's designed to become better. It's designed to balance itself. That is what our body wants to do. And so when we give it the tools to do so, it's going to. So when we give it those tools and we start exercising, guess what? We're going to build lean muscle mass, which is our metabolism, which is our energy source, which is our ability to walk through life in our 70s and 80s and do cool stuff, right? So we want muscle, but it also is far more dense. And, fat, think of it like this. I always share my clients, like, a pound of feathers. Think how many feathers and how much space that would take up to get a pound of feathers. That's your fat. Now think of how much space it would take up if you were having a pound of nails. So a pound is a pound is a pound. A pound of feathers is the same as a pound of nails, but the space that it takes up is very, very different, which is why you lose inches, but the scale may not move. Do you guys understand? And when your clients have that aha moment, they can stay motivated, because when they feel discouraged, they're likely to quit or get off track. And this is why, as TLS coaches, we are educating and having these conversations, because and here's the thing. So Zan and myself and other TLS trainers and coaches have a lot of these videos for you to share with your clients on our coaches YouTube channel. So even if you don't remember how to say any of this, go make sure you're familiar with the videos on our YouTube's coaches channel, because anytime your client is struggling with this type of thing, you can share a little video. So Zan's got one on weight loss isn't linear, right? And I have one on the pounds and the muscles and the scale, slowing down. All of these things are there for you to use. So you don't necessarily have to be the expert. You can say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Let's get down to the bottom of it. let's find a solution. I have some questions for you. So you're going to ask questions because people who are discouraged need to be able to talk about it, and you need to be okay and not be dissuaded, right? As a new TLS coach or new TLS UFO, you're like, oh my God, TLS and the supplements don't work. Oh, right. Don't, it's okay. Right. You need to have these conversations with your discouraged clients or team members so they can be heard, or they're totally going to go away. And here's what we do. We listen, we ask questions, we find solutions, and we share a video with third-party credibility. Now, exercise is, hey, I'm doing everything else but exercise. Well, that's why your results are slow. So you either have to have a higher commitment to exercise, or you have to be okay with losing just a little bit slower. Now, I'm going to encourage us to find a solution to your exercise. What do you love doing? What do you enjoy doing? What's something you would be willing to do? Now, I think you're thinking exercise is 2 hours in the gym, but what could you do for 20 minutes that you absolutely love and enjoy? Go for a walk with your dog, do, some laps in a pool. Like, do you want to go dancing? Like, what could you do? Could you find an app on, Fit On or Daily Burn and do a video so you don't have to think about it? You don't have to plan it. You just have to click play. Like, what can we do here? What are you willing to do? Nothing. Okay, great. I mean, here's the thing. You just got to be okay with their answers and continue to love and encourage them forward, but also manage expectations by saying, hey, you know what? That means your results will go slower. And you just have to be okay with that because you're not doing one of the pillars. So the other thing that I think is very, very important is people often, they start with our Jumpstart kit. They start with our 7-day detox. They get a rapid weight loss. And they're so excited. 7 pounds, 5 pounds, 12 pounds. I've seen 14 pounds. I mean, just in 1 week. And then they go into rapid results. They go into, sure and steady after that, or the rest of the Jumpstart program. And it's almost like they feel like their weight loss has come to a screeching halt. Well, it kind of has because healthy weight loss, we're not going to live on detox, right? That is not the plan we live on. Detox is getting rid of water weight, toxicity, old fermenting fecal matter in the colon. I mean, we're getting rid of stuff, and some fat. However, after that, you need to mentally prepare and verbally say, look, after detox, expect 1 to 3 pounds a week at the most. That's healthy weight loss. That means we're losing the right kind of weight. That's fat loss. So when we're bringing a new client on, they're not discouraged by this, what feels like a screeching halt in their weight loss week 2, 3, and 4, and continuing on. 1 pound a week is fantastic. Okay. You want to celebrate that. You want to make sure that as a TLS coach, we are preparing them mentally for that. And so I'm always like, good. I'm glad you're losing 1 pound a week. That's precisely the kind of weight loss and that we want to see. And when they don't lose 1 pound a week, chances are they lost inches. So it's very important to understand what a true plateau is. True plateau is 4 weeks with no movement in any measurement, not the scale, not the inches, not the body fat percentage, none of it. And that's why it's so important that we do all of those measurements, that they get a scale that does that you have one for them, whatever the case might be, so that they understand that things are still shifting and moving. Oh my gosh, I lost 2 inches this week. I didn't lose 1 pound, but I lost 2 inches. Holy smokes. Like, this is crazy, right? We're giving our body a facelift. It's like a body lift. So, and you want to be excited about that with them. So I hope this helps you understand how to work with clients. I hope it helps you, deal with those adverse effects or the slowing of results, what we would consider in the business, when somebody sees the business plan, how to handle objections. And that's what this video is all about. Let me know what you learned. Let me know if it helped you out, and definitely share it with your team. Thanks so much for watching.